don't understand why it's not working. It's not as if it's witchcraft. Witchcraft. But it is. A dark and powerful magic.
Ahora sí, cabrón.
Here's a question. What do you get when you combine an oracle and a witch? A cleric, apparently, and that's kind of weird, but it is pretty useful. The shaman is a powerful, versatile class that can be made to fit most playstyles and party compositions, as well as be altered on the fly to handle changing circumstances. Let's start by looking at the core ability scores of the shaman. Your most important scores are going to be Wisdom and Charisma. Shaman spells are Wisdom-based, and a lot of your special abilities run off your Charisma. So, knowing this, the races you should consider when creating a shaman are things like half-elf, human, and half-orc. You can put that +2 into Wisdom and not worry about any -2 impacting one of your other stats. The standard ASMR is a really good choice because they get a +2 to both Charisma and Wisdom. If you fancy something a little darker, you could go with the Nosferatu Dampier. With their +2 to Strength and +2 to Wisdom, there's a lot of potential for an Oracle, and they do take a -2 to Constitution, so I would say think about being more of a back row character with that. You also have possibilities with the Tengu. They have a +2 Dex, +2 Wisdom, -2 Constitution. So again, that's another back rank option. You might also think about trying an Undine Shaman with their +2 Dex, +2 Wisdom, -2 Strength. So don't expect to be too effective with a hand-to-hand weapon. Shamans get a D8 hit die and the mid-range base attack bonus, so there are plenty of possibilities for tankier Shaman, especially since they are proficient with light and medium armor. However, Shaman have only simple weapon proficiency. This is a good reason to take either a human or a half-elf, so you can spend that bonus feat, or weapon training, to get yourself a weapon that you can really do a lot of damage with, something like an Earthbreaker or a Greatsword. Now let's talk about your spells. Much like clerics, Shaman prepare their spells ahead of time, from the Shaman spell list. There's also an additional ability that Shaman get called Spirit Magic. This means that they get an additional spell slot, which can be used to spontaneously cast spells from the list of spells granted by their spirit. Every spirit grants you a new spontaneously castable spell at every spell level that's thematically appropriate for the spirit. As an example, the Flame Spirit gives you Burning Hands, Energy Resistance, Fireball, etc., etc. The next important class feature of the Shaman is the Spirit Animal. This functions in most ways like a Wizard Familiar, with a couple of small differences. First off, the animal is considered an outsider of the native type for things that affect native outsiders. The spirit animal can deliver hexes as well as touch spells, and it can't be changed with feats like Improved Familiar. Next, your chosen spirit, which you pick at first level, will grant you spirit abilities. There are a wide variety of spirits for you to choose from. Once chosen, your primary spirit can't be changed. In my opinion, some of the better spirits to go with and their abilities are the Bones Spirit. Its spirit ability is Touch of the Grave. As a standard action, the Shaman can make a melee touch attack and infuse that with negative energy, dealing 1d4 points of damage +1 for every 2 Shaman levels. As you increase in Shaman levels, you'll get a greater spirit ability. For the Bones Spirit, it's Shard Soul. The Shaman gains DR3 magic. This DR increases by 1 for every 4 Shaman levels past 8th. I'm also quite fond of the Flame Spirit. This gives you the spirit ability, Touch of Flame. As a standard action, the shaman can make a melee touch attack that deals 1d6 points of fire damage plus 1 point for every 2 shaman levels. Your greater spirit ability is Fiery Soul. The shaman gains fire resistance 10, and as a standard action, they can create a 15-foot cone of flame that deals 1d4 points of fire damage per shaman level. The lore spirit gives you the spirit ability Monstrous Insight. As a standard action, the shaman can attempt a knowledge check to identify a single creature and its abilities, with an insight bonus equal to their shaman level. Whether or not the check is successful, they gain a +2 insight bonus for 1 minute on attack rolls, and a +2 insight bonus to their AC against that monster's attacks. Most of these abilities are usable 3 times per day, plus your charisma modifier, by the way. The Nature Spirit gives you Storm Burst. This allows you, as a standard action, to make sheets of wind and rain surround one creature within 30 feet. This causes it to treat all foes as if they had a 20% miss chance for 1 round plus 1 for every 4 shaman levels you possess. And at 11th level, any weapon you're wielding is treated as if it was a thundering weapon. Nature's greater spirit ability is Spirit of Nature. Whenever the shaman is reduced to 0 hit points, they automatically stabilize and gain fast healing 1 for 1d4 rounds. Finally, the Wind Spirit gives you Shocking Touch. As a standard action, the shaman can make a melee touch attack that deals 1d6 points of electric damage plus 1 for every 2 shaman levels they possess. And at 11th level, any weapon they're wielding is treated as a shocking weapon. Wind's greater spirit ability is Spark Soul. The shaman gains electricity resistance 10, and as a standard action, they can unleash a 20-foot line of sparks, dealing 1d4 points of electric damage per shaman level. Now we get into what gives the shaman its versatility. That's the Wandering Spirit class feature. How Wandering Spirit works is, at 4th level, you can just pick an additional spirit. And you don't even have to marry it like you do with your primary spirit. You can select a new Wandering Spirit each time you prepare spells for the day. The Wandering Spirit gives you the spirit ability and the bonus spells from the spirit that you select. Like, let's say you're a Bones Oracle, but you're going into areas with a lot of unknown creatures that the party hasn't encountered before. You could take the Lore Spirit as your Wandering Spirit and get access to the Monstrous Insight spirit ability, as well as spells like Identify and Tongues. The next important class feature to be aware of are Hexes. As you increase in shaman level, you'll get Hexes just like a witch. And you can even take a Witch Hex, with the Shaman Hex, which is literally called Witch Hex. You're not allowed to take a Shaman Hex more than once, and I think this does apply to Witch Hex. So you'll want to pick the Witch Hex you want carefully. I think Fly is one of the better Witch Hexes, honestly. But a lot of the Shaman Hexes are equivalent to the better Witch Hexes. These are things like Chant, which is the Shaman equivalent of Cackle, Evil Eye, Fortune, and Misfortune. A unique Shaman Hex is Shapeshifter, which allows you to be under the effects of Alter Self for a number of minutes per level equal to your Shaman level. At 8th level, this increases to Beast Shape 1, and at 12th level, Beast Shape 2. Also, I don't think you would go awry with the Tongues Hex. Tongues allows you to understand any spoken language for a number of minutes per day equal to your Shaman level. And at 5th level, you can speak any language as Tongues. Now, in addition to the general Shaman Hexes, the spirits all have a robust list of hexes of their own. For the Bone Spirit, there's Bone Ward. This allows the shaman to give any creature a +2 deflection bonus to AC that increases at 8th level to +3 and at 16th level to +4. The Lore Spirit can give you Arcane Enlightenment. The shaman adds a number of spells from the Sorcerer Wizard spell list equal to their Charisma modifier to their Shaman spell list. To cast these spells, they must have an intelligence score equal to 10 plus the spell level. So if you fancy a more daring build, you have access to a whole new world of spells with that hex. All the spirits have a wide variety of hexes that will let you customize your shaman for the party role you're trying to fill. The final class feature to be aware of for the shaman, and this does play into that flexibility that I was talking about, is Wandering Hex. And yes, this does work a lot like Wandering Spirit. At 6th level, the shaman can temporarily gain the use of the hexes possessed by either one of their spirits. You have to make this selection each day when preparing your spells. For the purpose of this ability, you can select any hex possessed by the spirit. If you select it from your wandering spirit, you lose the hex if you change wandering spirits, although you can select a different hex. Thank you for watching this class analysis from D6 Damage. If you're interested in more character builds, crafting guides, or in-depth looks at the other classes in Pathfinder, check out D6 Damage right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching.